Allo, Eva, Sla. I'm the Mademoiselle and Sassy Dizium Chanel. And as you guys can tell by today's title, we're going to be doing another Crick Crack video. Of course, when I say crick, you guys comment down below crack. I love doing these, but some of them be a little too much, so I'll be having to take a nice little hiatus from them. Of course, if you have your own story, make sure you send them right here to the email right here on the screen. Do not send it to my business email. Okay, if you send it there, I'm going to trash it. So many of y'all be trying to, oh, I need your advice. Child, again, send everything to the Crick Crack, because if it's not a business opportunity or anything like that, I'm not going to answer it from there. Also, I did break a nail, so yeah, I really hate filming with a broken nail, but I really had to get these videos done. I'm going to get it fixed as soon as I am done filming, so please disregard. And for those of you guys who have been asking, I do want to open memberships up on this channel, but I'm not really sure what to offer, so if you have any ideas, make sure you comment them down below. I'd love to hear it. All right. So let's see. Hey, Yvana, I've been watching your mermaid lore and stories, and it raised an interesting question about mermaids. My question is, do you think someone could be a mermaid offspring and not realize it? Like not know or something? Yes and no. This is interesting because not even just in Haitian culture, there are so many cultures in the world where they allude to mermaids mating with humans. Now, what happens to those kids, I don't fucking know. But from the stories that I've heard, I've always heard the mermaids taking the child. Like that child typically gets raised as a mermaid. Now, I'm sure there are opposite things that happen where the child gets raised on land. But I would assume if a mermaid is your mother or your father, that eventually they'll come for you or try to show you signs or whatever. Like, because mermaids are pretty territorial. I don't believe they would sit there and like intentionally have a child with a human and not come back to collect. That's just my personal opinion. I would love to hear your personal opinions down below because, yeah, I've heard stories like this before. Let me see. Do I have any? I think I have some, but it's like the details are a little murky. And there'd be some of y'all to be like, oh, if you don't know the whole story, don't tell it. Like, nigga, I've been getting these stories since I was 12. I am literally 30 years old now. Of course, some, things are going to be murky. But I don't have time to be seeing them damn comments. They really irritate the fuck out of me. So I don't know. Maybe one day I'll tell them. Maybe I won't. But anyhow, let me explain why this question has surfaced. When I was a child, like preschool age, I traveled with family to Texas. I don't know why. She put family in quotation marks. I'm not really sure why. To Texas, Houston. I only remember 2 trips, but each time we went to the beach. Now, these videos, you explain how children are warned not to go near the water, in the water, etc. Well, my parents, okay, again in quotations, this is weird, told me not to go too far out. Well, other kids, older kids, went out pretty far. So, of course, I followed. You said you were preschool age. Of course, they're going to tell you not to go far in the water. You can drown and die. Literally, you can drown and die. The older kids more than likely know how to swim, and they're also taller, which means they're not going to get pulled in as much, or if something does happen, they can probably just stand up in the water. So, I mean, I think that's just common sense. Now, on another channel, and maybe yours, I don't remember, I've been doing a lot of research. I learned there's a type of mermaid that tickles you. I never heard of that shit. You ain't heard that here. When I went out where I couldn't touch the bottom, oh, I felt something touching my feet. Okay, so yeah, again, you didn't get that from my channel. To tickle, this is the thing, right? If mermaids did actually exist for real, right? I do believe they exist, but if mermaids existed, they're not going to be anywhere close to humans. They're in the deep, 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 deep ocean. Like, far out. Like, I'm talking about, like, you can't even see it from the beach far out. Like, them niggas don't want to see us at all. As far as something tickling your feet, I hope you guys know that there's different animals and stuff in the water. You got eels, you got squids, you got little octopus, you got turtles, you got the little fish, you got, like, there's so many things, especially the deeper you go, like, you'll see more different things. I used to always feel things tickling my feet, specifically when I would go to, like, Coney Island or any New York beach. I think it was probably just trash because, those beaches is disgusting. Mermaids, they're deep. Like deep. They don't come nowhere close to us, okay? Like nowhere. Many of them are more so in rivers, lakes, rarely, beaches, rarely. Not saying they are not there. There's some that are there, but most of the time you'll find mermaids in rivers. There are rare occasions that you will find them in the ocean, but even in the ocean, they are deep, way far away from anything that a human could possibly swim and survive unless they were like a deep diver and you had the proper equipment. At the time, I thought maybe it was seaweed or fish, but I'm not sure if seaweed would be in such a shallow area, and if it was fish, wouldn't I feel them on my legs also? but I loved going back and forth from sand to deep waters to feel something touching my feet. It was like a game if you think about it. I also remember playing in the waves a lot. I love the water. You could not catch me on the sand. But since then, I have never been back to the ocean. So I don't know, because you said you went a little further out, but you couldn't touch the ground. So further out for you is probably a lot shallow, or a lot more shallow than deep for the older kids. So I guess that makes sense. But yeah, it probably really was seaweed or fish. And no, they probably wouldn't go through your whole body or more of your legs because they're fish. I mean, it's already a shallow thing of water. They'll probably just touch your feet. And yeah, nah, it probably really was seaweed. But yeah, you're tripping. I'm happy nothing happened to you. You know how many times I almost drowned? Like, I've gotten pulled in the water so many times. Like, now it's like going to the beach. Don't care for it. Mainly because I hate sand, but mainly because, like, yeah, I'm kind of terrified of water. Within this time frame, I had received a big seashell from my neighbors down the street. Whoa, child. Please proofread these things before you send them to me, because I just be struggling. Like, what? Within this time frame, I had received a big shell from my neighbors down the street. I guess she meant to say one house down. I don't know, because it just says house down. Throughout my life, I had separated from it. I gave it to people I trusted, but I always reconnect with it. I love this shell, and I still have it to this day. A couple years later, when I was maybe 10 or 11, my perception of who my family was turned upside down. The woman I thought was my mom told me that her biological son, whom I thought was my brother, was actually my dad. I hate when families do this. Tell these damn kids the truth. So my mom was actually my biological grandmother. My father was my step-grandfather because he did not have my bio dad and my bio grandma. Okay. The really interesting part is that I never met my biological mother until I was 15. I seen her 3 times, and all I remember is the mermaid-themed bathroom. Y'all, am I bugging? Doesn't everybody have a mermaid-themed bathroom? Not everybody, right? But, like, that's a very common theme for bathrooms. I personally wouldn't do it because I think it's a little tacky. Sorry if you have a mermaid-themed bathroom, but I've seen a lot of people with mermaid-themed bathrooms. It's crazy. Maybe a coincidence, but weird family lore aside, I don't act or think the same as my family. I have physical characteristics, but I don't personally think I look anything like my family. I always felt a huge disconnect, including on another dimensional level. Maybe it was because I was a child, but I still to this day feel as if I'm more than human, not better than other people. I just feel out of place. There's a movie I watched one time called Mermaid Down. I highly recommend you watch it. It's so good. But one part in the movie, she communicates that many men have taken mermaids from the sea and had children with them, and the offspring don't even realize they have mermaid blood. When I was in middle school, I found out how H2O just adds water. Wait, what? Oh, okay. I found the show H2O, Just Add Water, and I fell in love. Is that the name of the show? H2O, Just Add Water? I found Hannah Fraser Mermaid and Mermaid Melissa, and I wanted to be a mermaid. I swam all summer long for 2 summers, and within those summers, I have become a strong swimmer. I learned how to plug my nose without using my hands or goggles. I was fast underwater without arms, only moving my legs or my whole body like a dolphin. I used to meditate at night in the tub on full moons, and I'd get this almost high feeling euphoria. I could see a blue, green, and purple aura around me, and my legs would feel slick. IDK, smoother than human skin. I'm 25 now, and I'm struggling with my obsession of mermaids, and this feeling is of not belonging. Okay, I'm just happy you know that it is an obsession. This sounds like something like you like mermaids and you think you're a mermaid. I don't know. Comment down below if you guys agree or you disagree. It just sounds like, yeah, like, I really like mermaids. I had these experiences, and, you know, maybe I'm a mermaid, which, to be quite honest with you, there's a couple people that write stories like this to me, and I'm just like, a lot of these obsessions are a little unhealthy. I just had to say that before I even finish it, because it's just like, y'all, like, they're so rare to see that it's just like, the possibility of someone even being a mermaid is even more rare, okay? Because eventually, like I said, that mermaid would come to collect some way or somehow, okay? Sometimes I get into this silent daze where I feel more in spirit than my physical body, like my soul is trying to escape. It's not unpleasant, but I've never had a chance to get another point of view that isn't going to tell me I'm just full of shit. Sorry this is so long and unorganized. If there's details you need that I left out or any questions, please feel free to ask, because I may have left shit out. It's cool if this is never used in a video, but it'd be pretty stoked to see it on YouTube. I'm just looking for advice from someone who seems to really know their shit, you know? Thank you so much. Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you. Maybe you're a mermaid, maybe you're not. I don't really see anything significant here. Like, I don't know. I will say the whole thing with the whole meditating and then seeing an aura around you. I mean, hey, but listen, fun fact, right? I have ADHD. Meditating just doesn't work for me because I close my eyes and I start thinking about what I'm about to do when I'm done closing my eyes, what I'm going to eat, what I'm going to wear, where I'm going to go. Like, I just can't. I've only been able to successfully meditate for maybe 30 minutes on 2 occasions. It's not my thing. I know for many spiritual people, like, that's a thing. Like, you know, it's part of it ain't for me. Okay, it's just not. However, I have heard many people talk about how they meditate and like some things can happen, like they do feel euphoric or they feel a closer sense to God or their ancestors or their spirits. Like, that's not unique at all, especially when it comes to like the colors and the auras. Like, I've heard a lot of people say like, yo, they meditate and they start seeing shit. So I don't. Again, comment down below what you think. Personally, I don't really see anything significant that I haven't already heard before. Because if your symptoms mean that you're a mermaid, that would mean that literally everybody would probably be a mermaid, or there's a significant amount of people that are mermaids out there. So I do hope you get it figured out. I'm not going to say you're bullshitting. I don't, but I don't see anything substantial. But next story, this one is a little bit shorter, but of course it's dealing with mermaids as well. Hey, Ivana, feel free to give me a fake name if you want because I'm going to try to keep this anonymous. Please, just keep it anonymous. This is actually my second submission to you. My first one is slightly cringe, so fingers crossed it went right to the junk mail. Are you sure I ain't read it yet? But I'm sending a submission because I recently watched one of your mermaid videos after I had a dream the previous night about a mermaid. I actually dream about water and rivers and the oceans very often. I dream that I can breathe underwater and all. And those dreams sometimes include water spirits and people underwater. I think I saw Mami Wata in my dream at one point because I dreamt of a woman in the water and her bottom half looked like a snake. But this recent dream I had was actually quite hilarious. So I dreamt that I was at home and I blinked, then suddenly I was underwater. There was a merman next to me whose skin looked like gold and he had blonde hair. Okay. He handed me a piece of tin foil and told me to catch a fish and wrap it up in foil and bring it back to him. But for some reason, something told me to do the opposite of what he told me. So I took the sand from my feet and started scooping it up and putting it in the foil. When I brought him the foil with sand in it, he became so incredibly annoyed. I'm done. Yeah, it's so weird because when you hear these mermaid stories, they're always like, do the opposite, do exactly what the mermaid says. And I don't know. If something ever happens like that to me, I know I'm going to do the wrong thing because I always hear so many different things. He immediately started beating me and called me dumb. What the fuck? Chad, I would have tried to wake my ass up because what? He actually looked at me and said, all of these years in school went to waste. You are a dumb woman. Get out. Come, let's go. Wow. You must leave. And he took me by my hand and I blinked and I was in my house again. I woke up questioning if I really got roasted by a merman in my dream. I would also like to add that I do not live by any large bodies of water, nor have I ever actually. I'm a New York City native, but my mom's family is from Trinidad and Tobago. Y'all do know New York got loads of water, so am I tripping? Especially New York City. Like, the bay is right there. What are you talking about? You don't live near water. Like, there's New York beaches. Child. Trinidad and Tobago? Water? Okay, I don't know, y'all. Maybe we don't teach geography these days no more because what are y'all, these stories today are interesting. My older relatives have stories about mermaids and everything, but I've never heard the stories myself. And I've been having these dreams even before I came into your Haitian page content. I even think I had a dream about Ursula Duntor. I hope I spelled her name right. And child, that's a whole separate story for another day. And the dream was also hilarious too, but I hope this submission could get your attention. Hope you enjoy. All right, well, it definitely got my attention. I will say both these stories are pretty interesting in terms of like, y'all do watch my videos, and I feel like, I don't know, how do I explain it? I feel like a lot of people that watch my videos sometimes will write into me about something that had to do with one of my videos, and it's like, y'all do understand that when you watch something or you continuously read about something, or if you're like truly interested in something, like eventually it's going to be something that kind of takes over your life in a sense. Like, it's going to be something where it's going to be in your dreams. It's going to be something in your subconscious. And I feel like that's what happens to a lot of people in a general sense. Like, if you're constantly watching something, if you're constantly dibbling and dabbling in something, if you're watching certain content, especially if it has to do with your own personal interest, you're more than likely going to have dreams about it. I will say that this one's very interesting because, like, you're having dreams about Ursula Duntor, but you're from Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, they have their own spirits and their own voodoo stuff, whatever case may be, but being that most of the slaves were brought from the same places in Africa and then dumped in the Caribbean and the Americas and everywhere else, it's very interesting to think about, like, damn, sometimes, like, I always wonder, like, do some people's lineages cross into other islands? I know for me, when I took my ancestry test, I had family in Bahamas, like a lot of family in Bahamas. And I'm just trying to think to myself, like, how the fuck did that happen? I would assume maybe during one of these annoying dictatorships, one of my family members in the past life was like, you know, fuck it, and went to the Bahamas. And it's interesting because they do have like a large Haitian population over there in general. And I'm sure it just happened with other countries, right? There's probably a lot of Jamaicans that traveled to Trinidad and Tobago. There's probably a lot of people that are, you know, from Grenada or whatever that traveled to Haiti. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's probably a lot of people from Guyana that traveled to Haiti, vice versa. You know what I mean? So I always wanted to know how that works. And then spiritually, how the fuck does that work? Different spirits, different ancestors, different rules, different, you know, red tape, yellow tape. So I don't know. I feel like you just go where you called in that sense. Okay. I don't even know. I ain't an expert. I always tell y'all, child, go to a professional. Okay. I'm just here telling my stories. And I am happy that you guys really do love to share your stories with me. I feel so honored. Of course, again, if you would like to share your story, make sure you guys send it right here to the email on the screen, not my business email, because I will trash it. With that being said, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Do not forget to comment down below some advice for these two people. And yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna see y'all next time. Bye!